Hey everyone, in this video, we're just going to walk through some of the features within Knowledgehook and really mainly like the data aspect of how you can view some of the data and use it purposefully within your schools. So whether you choose to use this for like the PA day, PD days, anything in the future, just wanted to kind of highlight how you can do that. So this is typically what teachers will see within their classes, that they have a variety of classes logged in. But what I want to do is, for me, I'm actually going to change my settings by going to the like right hand corner, and this will give me access to like all of the data within the board. And we're just going to zoom out to see like what you can see as well at the school level. So I'm going to go through, change the settings, and you have access to this as well. But here's what's really nice. So when you go into the Knowledgehook dashboard, now you actually have a breakdown of all the grades from K to 10. And what's kind of cool about this is really right now the readiness to learn task. But you can see as I hover over like a certain grade, so say like in number strand, grade 2 in number, you can see how Thames Valley does in comparison with the rest of the province. So we've got 79.3% versus Ontario of 84.4. Now this is really just based on eagerness. Now you can actually see the breakdown in the color-coded like heat maps, just like we've seen in a lot of other places, and it'll give you a breakdown of what this looks like below. Now, what's really cool though is we can change this to just focus on any given strand. So say right here in terms of the full dashboard, I want to change this into number. I can actually now simply focus on number and it'll give me specific breakdowns pertaining to that, which can really help with like school improvement in terms of seeing, is there any weak points that we need to look through, who's actually using Knowledgehook within our schools, who is not, and why. Now, so say I look at grade 3 here, whole numbers representing. When I actually like click on this, one really nice feature is it'll give me the entire breakdown of all the specific expectations within the curriculum. And again, it'll give me the comparison. How are we doing relative to the province? And you can see like the correlation in terms of the difference. Are we doing better? Are we doing worse? And how much worse relative to that? Now, the thing that no one looks at within here, and this is available to everyone, but is these light bulbs. These light bulbs, as I've mentioned before, are indicators for intervention. So let's just take a look at one that we're struggling at. So for example, we go down to count and represent and compare numbers to 20. We just in theory here are like 6% below the provincial standard. So if I click on this light bulb, it is going to give me intervention questions that teachers have access to and they can print out for small group instruction to target intervention and remediation in these students. So rather than them having to create everything, it's available for them. So what are they observing? What questions can they give them to go through this? What materials do they need? So now to get those high instructional practices, everything is laid out and they don't have to recreate anything. It's already done for them. And it'll give these approaches to work with the students that will save them time. It's the most powerful tool within like Knowledgehook, and yet very few people know about using that light bulb. And I'll show you what it looks like for them just in case you haven't seen it. But what's awesome is they can either download this or just print it. And now they have so much work for remediation to go through with these students, which is vetted, by the way, and proven by research, which is huge. So again, I could change this from anything. Right now, I'm just on this specific expectation, but like, let's get out of here for a second. So say I was focused on algebra. What does that look like in my school? And then you can see, ooh, grade 7, like we're kind of struggling here. So in expressions and equations, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to see like, okay, I might have to work on writing algebraic expressions. So I click that light bulb, and this one doesn't actually have one, but a lot of the other ones will. And sometimes you'll see this, like view math background. So it'll give teacher information before they go into teaching, kind of more like a diagnostic of how to go about teaching the lessons. And then a misconception chart. What like previous misconceptions do we think when we typically teach this? And what are some misconceptions that students may have about the content? And then again, with those intervention questions. So that's kind of a really nice perk within this. Now, you can go and change this to question proficiency as well in terms of how are we doing on all these questions. And yes, we can break it down by school and things as well. But this is really some of the core of what we want to use, especially for school improvement. The last thing I'll just say is if like you want to, you can actually break down the usage and the utilization rate in your school. I'm not going to open this because it'll open up the data to each and every one of your schools, and I don't want to show that to each and every single one of you right now. But if you go in there and you have any curiosity around like what division is using it more for whatever reason, you can do that and take a look at the usage data within your school. But for right now, I'm going to just log back out because what I want to do is just show you what your teachers can see for how to use those light bulbs and some of the big tools. So if you're not really familiar with it, that's okay. I'm just going to go into like this class sample here. It doesn't really matter which class I go into. And when teachers get in, they'll see a variety of students. And once they have enough data, you'll see that the students will have like a heat map. They can link their parents as well. So the parents can get automatic links every single week to students' performance of how they're doing in class and why, which is pretty awesome. And it's at no extra work to the teacher as well, which is nice. For right now, though, along the top tab, I'm going to click on the Activities tab. And when I go to the Activities tab, you can see that I can scroll down and it'll be color-coded by strand. So here's what you saw based on the analytics behind the scenes. But when teachers go, they simply click whatever they want to use. And you'll see in this case, like number strand B1.1, the exact curriculum for Ontario. And again, if they click this light bulb, most teachers, I promise you at the time, did not know that. They just thought this was an icon. So if you click on it, here's where it'll give you those 3 documents again from the teacher-facing version. So, hey, Derek, I'm not really sure how I actually teach this concept. Where do I get started? Rather than you trying to like go through and ask for everything or purchase more materials, well, now they actually have the entire like document of how to go about doing this with concrete materials, with like the representation strand, and then we can get into like the more abstract as we go forward. And even if they're not sure of the proper verbiage to use, now it's all constructed for them. They could co-construct this, put it on their anchor charts within class. It really is extremely helpful to use moving forward. And again, the misconception charts and intervention questions. So those are really key. Now keep in mind as we move forward, because we're sitting here and we're in grade 3, if you are like focused on EQAO within like your grade 3, 6, 9 classes, please note that there are EQAO samplers that are already available within here. So you can take out EQAO benchmarking and release questions for this year, but also for previous years that they don't have to create. So that's available as well. Now, one other thing you might want to consider, have your teachers consider, is they can create their own custom tests to practice for not only EQAO, but just good practice in pedagogy if they ever want to accumulate any form of data in terms of school improvement. So how you would always do that is when a teacher's in here, they can actually just go to custom activities, just like I just have clicked on here, and I'm going to create a new custom activity. And I can like edit the name of this. So let's just say I'm just going to call this like a new admin. I'm a new admin. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for school improvement. I'm just going to use this name and I've saved it. And now I'm going to add content. I could create my own custom questions, but to be honest, it's a lot easier just to add the existing content. So I'm going to add content. I'm looking at grade 3 because that's what my grade is. I'm going to pick a couple from number. So I know that my students really might need to practice B1.5 using place value. So I'm just going to ask it to show me those questions. And once I do, it's going to show me these questions here and I see it and I'm like, you know what, this looks good. And if I like it, I can add some of these activities. So let's say I really like question 6. I'm going to add that activity. So that's been added. I'm going to add this one. And I might like question 10. So I'm going to add this one because these are like visual prompts. And you can always see that with the little Rubik's Cube for visual math or the place value blocks. And now I'm like, you know what? Those look pretty good. So I've got some number questions. Maybe I'm going to add some algebra questions because I might want to make it representative of what either EQAO or what my school improvement goal is. So maybe I'm only focused on number and algebra. I'm just going to add a couple questions here. And eventually, like, see the point, like I have the light bulb again in case I'm not sure what to do. Let's just say I've added enough. Now I'm done, so I can hit the done editing. And really what I've done is I've created this, like my own customized version of questions. And I can either like be done. I could add slides to this, so I could make this a whole lesson in a group. Or I can just be totally done and assign it to my students. So when I'm totally done, Now I have the option to play as a game show, which is teacher centered at the front of the class, which is teacher led. Or I can assign this as a mission or print it out where it's student led and it's done either in small groups, intervention, or even at home as additional work to go on and practice additional questions. But that can be used at whichever discretion you choose. Other two things, just quick, the reports tab along the top. The reports tab will take in mind all the data from different questions that you have. And it's pretty awesome because Knowledgehook actually started out as an analytics company, but people thought they were kind of like Kahoot for math. But that's just because the game show really took off. But again, it'll kind of give you this heat map and you can see which students are here and like who's like satisfactory, who's doing well, which is great. But I really like that it'll actually break down the questions by the most challenging question you have. So in this case, question 3 threw most students for a loop. So I could scroll down to question 3 and actually take a look what it was and what was happening and who answered what. So you can honestly, the data you can play with quite a bit. And I know most of you will not have time to do that in great detail, but it's nice that it's there so that if teachers really need to represent data and see what's going on, even with their select marker students, now they can. To that end, if you want to like increase parent communication around what's happening to like mitigate any gaps, anytime you have your classes, as soon as students are added, I can simply write in a parent email and I can invite them just by clicking this invite button. Or I can actually just print these invitations and have it sent to parents, and parents can do it on their own and view it as they wish. And you can elect how to do that, but we just wanted to give you a quick overview of some Knowledgehook applications. Hopefully some of this is beneficial, but if you have more questions about Knowledgehook, the reports, the utilization, please let us know, and we're really happy to help. Thanks, everyone.